Welcome back to Bar 46. As you can see, the creek is coming up a little bit. They gave us a flash flood warning, but I think that's passed. But this is Cottonwood Creek, and it runs about mile and a quarter through our place. And pretty special because it runs year round, and we use it to irrigate. And our cows get fresh water from it. But it's Sunday. It kind of got me thinking about a couple of things. I thought maybe I'd share it with you. You know, when we do this journey, this farm or farmstead or ranch or homestead, like whatever you want to call it. I've watched a lot of videos and read a lot of books, and I don't know that anybody's quite touched on it, at least that I've found just yet. And being self-sustaining, absolutely important. Raising our own vegetables and proteins, without a doubt. But I think that the real thing that I was looking for anyway is I was searching for something different. And coming from the city, I knew I was in the search. I just didn't know quite what I was looking for. And being here on the farm with all of my family moving here in various stages and raising our grandchildren, absolutely the foundation. But at the end of the day, that's all built on, where I'm headed with this and where we are as a family. And I was listening to Larry Fleet this morning. I started off with him quite a bit. He's got a song called Where I Find God, and pretty darn good way to start your day, and I listened to that. And got me thinking about a few things. And what I've discovered here that I just didn't see, that I think I was in search for, was, you can call it balance, you can call it your zen, you can call it your inner peace. All of those things, I guess, will qualify. But we're reminded every day that, man, life is fragile. And we see that all too often on the farm, but just in general, life is fragile. And before you know it, this journey's over. And finding wherever that is for you, I think is, that journey, where that zen or that balance is I think what everybody's kind of looking for, whether it be, the warm climate closer to the equator, and you're a pared head and Jimmy Buffett fan. Nothing wrong with that, that's for damn sure. Because I'm sure a pared head too, just in a much smaller degree than most, I guess. But mine was, and I always knew, wasn't the ocean or the warmer climate, it was the mountains. And being in the pine trees, and just kind of felt calm. I spent 30 years in a law enforcement career, and they say that, you bleed blue because that's who you are, and I never felt that way. I never felt like that's what I was meant to be. It was just kind of a means to an end. And it, supported my family and made a mortgage payment, and I'm grateful for that. But it was never who I was at the core. I really didn't know who I was. Didn't know what I wanted to do. What you want to be when you grow up. But when I bought this farm, and I've been through this journey and are still on it, and grateful for every day, I give thanks for every day, and that's what I pray for is one more day. And I've never worked so hard in my life. So obviously that's not a part of it. It's the life itself. It's being here. It's the quiet and the sound of the water and spending time with my cattle, and those are all things that help me find that balance. And if I have the balance, then I can distribute that and share that with my family. Had an incident the other day. I was flying to Michigan to see my nephew wrestle in the state wrestling tournament. And my little brother called me when I was in the first leg of the journey, and I was sitting in the airport in Salt Lake City, and he said, I just talked to your daughter and she said you're coming out for the tournament. And I said, well, yeah, we discussed that. And he said, you know, it's next weekend, right? And I said, that's not funny. And he says, no, I'm serious. It's next weekend. You're flying out in the wrong weekend. And then it took me 2 days to get back home from Salt Lake City to Idaho. Hell, I could have walked it probably quicker than I got home with the flights. But, you know, the younger me probably would have got a little upset, and who are you going to get upset at? It was my fault, nobody else's. But sometimes life does those kind of things to you, and the only thing we get to do is decide how we're going to react to it. When things go bad on the farm, we lose a calf, or we use a piglet, or we've got, in this last year, we've had 2 fires. You get as mad as you want, but at the end of the day, it's just your heartbeats that you're wasting, nobody else's. So I think that, I guess what I'm driving at is, all the things that we do here on the farm are important, and they're all a part of finding that inner peace, and at least it is for me. And I think that that's the greatest lesson. And once you find that, I think that you become a better person, a better human, and then you can kind of pass that on to your animals, other people, the planet. And Sundays are a day to reflect. Otherwise, it's just another day. And we usually get together as a family on Sundays and kind of catch up with what's going on in everybody's life, because everybody's going 100 miles an hour, and I'm sure in your life too. So if you don't take a day, then it's just another day, and then you don't get together, and pretty soon a month has gone by, or 6 months, or a year, and you really haven't spent time with the people that are important to you, because we get so caught up in the 6-lane highways and all that other energy of things that I think when it's all said and done really don't mean anything. You know, they market to us and tell us that we need to buy a bigger house than our neighbor, or a fancier car, and so we're all stuck on a treadmill trying to do that. And I read a book on centurions, and they said once you identify what really matters, you're ahead of the game. Unfortunately, most people kind of get to that level when they're, you know, at the finish line. And I think that what they would tell you, because they did, was time is your most valuable asset. Well, if it's our most valuable asset, why do we spend most of our lives chasing something that's not that important? And I guess what I'm trying to share with you is that I found that here. And I'm grounded here. I'm marrow deep in what we do. And in my former life in law enforcement, never understood that value. And on a beautiful Sunday morning, sitting next to the water, I thought it was something I might share with you. And I wish that for you. You know, not everybody's balance is going to be found on a farm or a farmstead or a ranch or a homestead. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. But it sure has worked for us. It worked for me. And I thought that was an important point. All these videos and books that I've read about what we're doing, none of them talk about that. So I wish that for you, that you can find that balance. And if it starts with you, then you're able to share that with others, and that's intoxicating, and isn't that pretty cool? The world is full of way too much insecurities and deficiencies and brutality and all those things that kind of just keep rolling and getting bigger and run people over. And it doesn't have to be that way. But anyway, I think that's probably enough being on my soapbox. But that's my thought for you, and I sure wish you the best. And I hope you're able to find a spot like the one I'm sitting at today. Now, if it keeps raining, and that runs me over, it won't necessarily be such a pretty spot as it is now, but that's not the case now. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.